Hey guys, Ken with MCrider. I want to introduce you to an app today that I think is going to change the way you ride. It was developed in conjunction with MCrider and it's called MC Vision. It's not on the App Store yet, but I'll tell you here in a little bit how you can get this app and start using these skills for yourself. So the best way to show it off, I guess, is to show you the app and then we'll go for a ride and we'll demonstrate it. So when you open this thing up, I don't know if you guys can see this right here, it's got the shows your location, so it's similar to like a Google Maps, and I put some reminders at the top. Says the next MCrider video will be Friday at 8 a.m. Then we got our little see you on the road down there. So I'm getting ready to go for a ride. I put my data in there where I'm headed to, and it predicts what potential hazards I may be facing along the way. And in fact, it uses real-time data of what's going on the road to help you know where those danger areas would be. So I've got my ride input in there, and it predicts, it says, look, warning, you've got a left-turning vehicle ahead, and it shows you the actual intersections on the road where you're going to face that potential hazard. It says at the bottom, I don't know if you guys can see this, it says be on the lookout for a red car. It will turn in front of you in 2.6 miles. Use caution. So, I mean, if you had that kind of knowledge, how much would that change the ride that you were on? So if I go a little bit further in my ride, and this is one of my favorite corners right here, if you guys can see that, but it's got another warning and it says gravel in corner. At the bottom it says potential hazard ahead, a road construction crew left gravel in the corner. And then I've always got to give you reminders here at the bottom, that slow look, press and roll. Just, some tips to remind you on some proper technique to get around a corner. But I found this app really useful, and I'm excited for you guys to be able to have this in your arsenal and in your tool belt for the next time you go for a ride. So stick with me after the break. We'll go for a ride, and we'll talk about applying this to your next ride as well. Okay, so now we're out on the motorcycle and we're going for a ride, but I know from that MC Vision app where the potential hazards are going to be. All right, so be honest. Who already went out to the App Store and looked for the MC Vision app? It's not really a real app, and while there may not be an app yet that can do what we demonstrated at the opening of this, you already have the ability to see a lot of the hazards in the road before you ever get there, if you understand and practice one secret that can greatly open up your vision on the road, and that's proper or good lane position. So when a car is rolling down the road, there's not much that they can do to increase their view. They might try increasing their following distance, and that can help some, but if there's a large vehicle in front of them, they're just stuck. They're stuck in the tracks that the car can ride in, and there's not much they can do to open their vision up. But a motorcycle can use lane position to open up their view ahead. They can move left or right in the lane or the center portion of the lane to see better through corners, and even blind corners to see hazards on the road. So kind of like that magic iPhone app, that MC Vision app that we mentioned at the beginning, our lane position can help us see what is happening in the road before we actually get there, so we're not having to react to it at the last second. So one of the areas where proper lane position can really help is when we're approaching a corner, especially those blind corners. So as you're approaching a corner, whether it's to the left or right, you can use your lane position in order to see a whole lot more through the road. So we can see where the motorcycle is positioned here. If he just moved over to the other portion of the lane, that's going to greatly open up the view for this rider and allow him to see a whole lot more of what's coming up ahead. So this works going to the left or to the right. So some of the benefits of this, we can see a lot more of the road earlier. We can see potential hazards through the corner, and we're also more visible to the traffic coming in the opposite direction. It also makes your motorcycle more stable if you follow this approach. So you may not have really thought about that, but why would it make your motorcycle more stable? Well, when is a motorcycle most stable? When it's riding in a straight line down the road. And this technique effectively straightens the curve out somewhat so that you're not having to lean the motorcycle over as far, thus making the motorcycle more stable through the corner. Now, some riders are worried about riding too close to the center line, and they might say, well, what if the car is coming the opposite direction and they're close to the center line? I don't want to be there close to the center. Well, that's the whole point of using this technique, is you want to be able to see the other car as soon as possible, and you want to give them the best chance to see you. So by using this technique, I can see that car that's close to the center line, and I can give up position in order to be safe. But it's important to never trade your position for safety. If the positioning puts you in an unsafe position, by all means, move to a position on the road where you're more safe. Even on straight stretches of road, this road positioning technique can have a huge impact on how well you can see up the road. Even if you're using, good following distance, having the motorcycle in a position where you can see up the road gives you a huge advantage. So what do you guys think about this technique? Do you often change your lane position in order to get your motorcycle in a better spot on the road for you to be able to see? I always say that there's two techniques I try to always follow on the road: see and be seen. But if I have to give one up, I'm always going to put myself in a position where I can see. To me, that's the most important, is for me to be able to see, because I'm not going to trust the other vehicles out on the road to see me. So I'm always going to get that motorcycle in a position where I can see, and proper lane position, like that iPhone app, allows you to see those hazards before they ever occur, and gives me the best opportunity to respond to it appropriately and get the motorcycle where it needs to be to keep me in a safe position. So I'd love to hear from you guys as well. Leave some tips or ideas down in the comment section. We'll also be continuing the discussion on this over on the forums, and I hope you'll join us there. If you don't have access to the forums and the field guide, you can go to MCrider.com/support and learn how to get access. And in addition to the forums, you'll get the field guide that gives you training tips and exercises that you can work on any open parking lot. Got several exercises in there that you can use to brush up on your skills and stay sharp on those necessary skills that you need out on the road. So till next week, guys, this is Kevin with MCrider, and I'll see you on the road. There are multiple ways to support the channel. You can become a member on YouTube at MCrider.com/member, or support the channel through Patreon at MCrider.com/support. Either way, you'll get full access to the forum and the field guides, which will further the training that we release here on a weekly basis.